I want to share my description of my most recent drawing, The Lions and the Lambs. And these are stories that I know that you've heard of, but I'd like to present how they all connect and how I can bring awareness to victims just like me through my art and my story and my speech. So I'll start reading. In the bottom of the canvas, I drew Kelly and Helen, two mothers whose children were molested by their babysitter, Michael Jensen. Michael Jensen is a pedophile who abused 42 children in 8 years. The church defended him continuously. When Helen told her bishop that her 4-year-old child had expressed being molested, the bishop responded saying, "I know this didn't happen. Michael is a good kid from a good family, and I know this didn't happen." When authorities finally did get involved, because a parent called the police instead of her bishop, the church sent Michael home early from his mission, but they did not tell anyone why. A member of the high priest ended up defending Michael in court. After Michael was found guilty, members of the ward encouraged victims and their families to forgive and move on. When Kelly bore her testimony to the people who had dismissed her child's pain, she said, "We are trying to warn you so that you can protect your children. We want your children to be safe. We want you to believe what your children say." The ward members drowned out her pleas with a hymn, and they tried to take the microphone away. Research into these families' experiences revealed a sinister system that protects the church over the victims. When bishops learn of abuse, they are told not to go to the police. Rather, they are supposed to call a hotline that leads to ecclesiastical legal assistance. This explains why the pathway to justice within Mormon communities is so often thwarted. Leaders care more about protecting their reputation than they care about the recovery of the children whose safety they have neglected. I drew these mothers wanting to capture their incredulous ache and to share their message that burdens them with rage. Above these mothers, I drew Steve. He was one of the people who spoke at your Templeside chat. Steve was molested for 9 years, ages 4 to 13, by his brother-in-law. Steve, like so many other victims, stayed quiet about the abuse. His brother-in-law went on to hold various positions within the church, including being a counselor and a bishop. A few years ago, Steve finally broke the silence and told his bishop what had happened. He turned to his bishop for assistance. He wanted justice, and he wanted people to know that his brother-in-law is not safe. It's been 2 years, and the bishop has done nothing. Steve continues to wait. When I look at Steve's haggard face and desperate eyes, I can feel the turmoil that underlies his story. I can feel the shame he has held inside. I can feel his bouts with suicide. I know what he means when he says he is tired. He is tired of not being believed by people who claim moral superiority. He is tired, and he wants his agony to mean something. I want it to mean something too. And that is why I drew him. I want to use my art to educate, to bring awareness to the pain of victims too broken to make a name for themselves. In the middle of these 3 people who have been so hurt by the obtuse defenses of the church, I drew a predator. Quote, Utah man charged with sexually assaulting teen girls. Lee Reeder was accused of objective rape, forcible sexual abuse, and providing alcohol to a minor. Utah man is an intriguing phrase, one that doesn't seem to relate to his offenses. The truth came out online. The Desert News articles didn't mention that Lee used to be a seminary teacher, but someone else did, one of his past victims. 20 years ago, she experienced the same assault. She said she shared the assault with her bishop and stake president, who did nothing more than listen. Again and again, time after time, church leaders pardon sinners, who then recommit their crimes. Next up on the canvas is you and I. I gathered our figures from the photo of our grandeur hike. I am holding my speech. Underneath are the words, "This is why I sing." I am raising my voice to bring awareness to victims like me. You are connected to the eye of dear Steve. You are the portal to victims in need. You help him and I like no one else can. That's why I call you Older Brother Sam. And the rest of this painting, I'm just going to share candidly. These are my altars. When I was painting this, I was in a lot of pain, and they just showed up on the page. I draw blindly, so I'm not looking at the canvas when I draw, so what's out of me comes out in a very candid way, and I wondered, what am I going to do with these parts of me that ache? And then I read my speech again, and the line, "This is why I sing," stood out to me. This is why I sing, to rectify the needs of your sacrificial sheep. And I realized that these parts that ache, they're sheep. And then I realized one other thing. You're a lion. And I knew that that's what needed to be put on the canvas. The lions and the lambs, the mothers who want to protect their children. I give both sides of me. I give my suffering and I give who I want to be. I am trying to become a lion like you. Because I know that there's so much I can do as I read about these sick cycles in the church. I believe I was hurt to make a difference. I have so many drawings that I've done since my art show. I've been holding them back. This one I did on Father's Day at a conference about preventing child abuse. It was reported that Utah ranks 8th in child abuse and 1st in sex abuse rates of children. That one's about my family, who they don't want to come to terms with my pain, and you can feel the ache. And I'm not going to share all of my drawings, just that I have a lot to say, and you're such a big part of it. So, there you go. Thank you for your time and for watching this.